Welcome to today's Minnesotan pod. We bring in today Paetyn Levis from Rogers, Minnesota, the New York Sirens, Ohio State. It's a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today, Paetyn?
Good. Thank you for having me.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.
If people could see or hear what we talked about before this started versus what we're going to talk about now, it would be quite enlightening, wouldn't you say?
Off the air is always better.
Oh, the air was really good. A lot of people got thrown under the bus. We'll just say that.
True.
Oh, I think a few people.
Well, yeah, you.
Yeah, me, especially me. All the things I learned I can't talk about on this podcast. There was
Crazy.
the list. It was like the Dead Sea Scrolls weren't as long as all the things I can't talk about today on the pod.
No, off the list.
Off the list. Lots of stuff not on the list, but there's still plenty to talk about, and that is mostly you. We'll talk about some of your coaches and people you played with, national championships, all that good stuff. Let's start off by just talking about who you are, grew up, how you got into hockey, a little bit about your family, and so people go, oh, that's where she comes from, that kind of thing. So I know you're from Rogers. Yeah. How did you get into hockey? What was the initial? How did you get skates and how did you get into it?
Yeah, so my dad's family is a big hockey family. He kind of introduced me. We just skated on ponds around at rinks.
When
everywhere.
you were really young, like before
really,
5?
Before 5.
Okay.
We had wild tickets, like half the season wild
Nice.
tickets. So there was like the first game I went to.
Did you get a jersey?
Probably
Get
sure,
a jersey or a hoodie or something.
Yeah,
All right. So you're already fully in it before you even go in there.
Well, no, that's how I got into it. So we were at a wild game and I was just like locked in. I was like watching back and forth. And I was really young, probably 4 maybe. And he's like, I've never seen a 4-year-old pay attention like this. And I was like, I really want to do it.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, fine, I guess you can. But his whole family played hockey. Like,
I
my
bet
uncle
his
on that
brain was
side,
going,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he's like, she chose it for herself. Yeah, he's like dying inside. But then, of course, my brother was like this the whole time, like not
picking
paying
daisies?
attention. Yeah.
Was he older or younger?
Younger. He's 2 years younger. So he was still young at that point, but I was like, I want to play. So then he took me out skating a couple times. And then I started in St. Michael pushing around a little chair. And after one day, I was like, I don't think I need the chair anymore. My dad's like, you're going to need the chair. But I didn't need the chair. And then ever since then, I was locked in.
Curious, I have a son that's the same age as you.
Yeah.
When you were doing that, the chair,
Yeah.
and I learned this after. I wish I would have known it before. Did you have any equipment on when you were out there? Was it just sweatpants, jacket kind of thing?
I think it was like technically association, so I think I needed equipment. But when we were out on the rinks outside, I for sure it was just snow pants, all that stuff.
I'm convinced one of the best things is to put the equipment,
Yeah.
like the elbow pads and the shin pads, because then they can fall and get up and no big deal.
Yeah,
like
they don't care.
after Jake had already kind of made his way, I'm like, I saw other kids that had their equipment, I'm like, oh, that would have been genius. Because he was, tiptoeing. He didn't want to fall on that hard ice or whatever. So that was just curious how that.
Yeah, no, I notice a lot of young kids, they are way more scared when they think it's going to hurt when you fall, but if they notice it doesn't, they're just ripping around.
Once they got the pads on, they don't. That's I always give people, like, wear breezers, wear elbow pads. They can take it from there.
Yeah.
All right, so you're totally into it. Tell me a little bit about your hockey family, though. So his brothers, your dad's brothers, uncles. Did your dad play? Where did they grow up?
Yeah, my dad, it's kind of crazy, but my dad grew up all over because my grandpa was in the Army, Navy. They moved around a lot. So
really? So Minnesota was Minnesota home base? Or
no, he was
just
never
happened
in
to be
Minnesota.
One of the staff? Oh, really?
No, never in Minnesota. And then my dad's dad passed when he was young, maybe like 13, and overseas. And they were going to pay for him to go to a military school, which at the time was Shattuck.
Stop it.
Yeah, so he loved hockey. And so he went to Shattuck to play hockey and soccer, I think.
Yeah.
And then he played, so then he just played hockey at Shattuck. Before it was like
Shattuck.
St. Mary's. But it was still a big hockey school, and it was like considered a military school. So yeah, he left home. He left Texas at the time, came up to Minnesota. Then he ended up, he was supposed to play at Denver, and then he went out there, and then they got a new coach his freshman year, and before the season started, cut all the freshmen and brought in his own players. So then he went back to Minnesota, and I think he played D3 for maybe 2 years, and then he was just done. But then my uncle on that side of the family, not his brother, but his married into the family, he ended up playing in the NHL. I think he got drafted by St. Louis Blues.
What's his name?
Steve Harrison.
Steve Harrison?
Yeah.
But that's an uncle by marriage, though, right? That's still pretty cool.
But, big
it was
hockey
in the family.
Yeah, big hockey family. So then, and my mom is opposite. She's from Minnesota. No one in her family played hockey. The not hockey family. She's like, what am I doing here? It's cold.
The rinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is sounding like someone, a female member of my family.
Yes.
As well.
She's like, what am I doing?
My wife grew up in Madison. She's like, we didn't care about it. Hockey was blue collar back then. All these negatives. I'm like, we didn't care about it. And so she wanted my son to play basketball, and he turned out to be 6'4". So it was like
it worked out.
No, it would have been. He should have played basketball, but no, he was a good hockey player. But I remember that it was being just completely vacant. My wife didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, my mom's like, we have to go to the rinks at 8 a.m. on weekends. Like, what are you talking about? My dad's like, no, we're all in. And she is she's the best hockey mom now. I give her so much credit. She
learned.
Yeah, she has taken the role, and she's the best. But it's funny because initially she was like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, I trust me, I lived that life for sure. And of course, the best part is my son was in his first year squirts. They gave the coach at some party gave out a quiz, right, to the hockey moms.
Yeah.
My wife aced it. She was the only one to get all 20 questions right.
That's impressive.
So in 3 years, she's really got to be good at being a hockey mom.
My mom, she would bring me to all the rinks, but I remember one specific moment. I might have been in squirts, maybe Pee-wees, and we were at not out of town. We were at a tournament in St. Cloud, and after the game, my dad wasn't there, which normally my dad took me. So it was the one time my mom got to take me, and she was like, I will take you on a trip anywhere around the world if you quit right now.
I love that.
And I was like, really? I thought it was cool. And, and of course, I ended up saying no.
So it was that hard on her?
Well, I think it was at the beginning, but then once we got older, she loved it. She thrives in the hockey mom role, but I just remember that one instance, and if my dad found out she ever said that to me, she would be done.
She'd be done.
But thank God I continued. But now she's loves it. So
tell me a little bit about the playing. Now, you said St. Michael? Did you guys move from St. Michael to Rogers?
Yeah, when I was really young.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started.
But those borders are really close.
Really close, yeah. I think I played 2 years of mites, and then 1 year I was a move up to a U8 or U10 team. I don't remember in St. Michael, and then we moved to Rogers. And I remember when we moved to Rogers, there wasn't an A team for the girls at the time. So then that's why I ended up playing boys. And then I played boys all the way up until 8th grade. And then right when Bantams hit, I just went straight to girls' high school.
Now, was that in 8th grade?
8th grade, yeah.
So you played varsity for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any boys that you played with that were they turned out to be standouts, or I think through the Rogers? I know there were some really good St. Michael kids that were your age.
Yes, there was.
Zach Schleen and all those guys.
That's my cousin. Zach is.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
There is so much to uncover here. What a great kid.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He went to I think he went to University of Cincinnati, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
How's that for a memory?
Yeah.
His dad was Papa Bear.
Papa Bear, yeah.
Papa Bear was one of the best guys
ever. Oh my God.
So how are you related to Papa Bear?
So his wife is my mom's cousin. So they're technically second cousins. Yeah.
That is so cool. What a great family. A lot of good families in that St. Michael 2008. And they made it to state. And So were you kind of cheering for him or no? Or did you just hate St. Michael?
I mean, at the time, I think I just hated St. Michael. But I'm sure deep down, I probably cheered for them a little bit because of my cousin. And I knew a lot of those kids. So,
no doubt. Yeah. No doubt about it. Okay. So back to hockey. Tell me a little bit about youth hockey, and then high school hockey was not as easy at Rogers as it was even at Ohio State. You won a lot at Ohio State, but didn't win a lot at Rogers. Tell me about the progression of hockey from your youth through high school.
Yeah, youth was amazing. I loved playing with the boys. It was everything I could have asked for. We were pretty good. There was one year I remember, I think we made it to state or regions or whatever they call it in that. Yeah. But that was about it for like postseason and youth hockey. But we had the best time. We had so much fun, and there was a lot of good kids in my group that I'm still friends with. So a lot of those boys I still talk to this day. But then getting to high school, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know any of the girls, which is kind of scary.
Well, here's a question for you. Okay, so in your world, you played boys, squirts, and peewees, and at that point you were hanging with those players. Did you have an off-season girls program? Had you ever played with girls before you actually played girls high school?
Yeah, I played, like, in the off-season I was with all girls.
Okay, and were there some of the top player? They were some of the top players in the state, some of these Hanglers and those type of players?
Yeah.
Heisey, those kids? Did you know those kids?
Yeah, I did know them, I feel. I think, like, more towards high school I got to know them better. I remember me and Claire Budarak played on a, like, really youth. We were really young when we played on, like, a AAA team together. I think we were the only two that ended up playing college hockey from that team, but we played together, like, when we were really little, and then I met all those other girls. But I remember always playing against, like, Hughes and Gabby Rosenthal and all those girls, and, like, Skate to Excellence.
Yeah.
And, so
Did you play with Terry at all?
I never played on Skate to
Okay, but you
Excellence,
played against.
Yeah, always.
That would be an experience. I reffed Terry a couple of months ago, and I was like, wow. I have now, I've gone up a level in officiating for the fact that I did a game with Terry Hughes in it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for him and on what he's done for girls hockey, especially.
Yeah, amazing, yeah.
We'll maybe get back to Gabby later because I think she's got a great story, and obviously someone you've competed against, same grade, same everything, all the way up. Okay, so you get to high school. I want to know, who are the coaches? Who are some of your influences to kind of make you love the game of hockey? Because maybe it was just you.
Yeah.
Or do you have some outside influences before you got to Ohio State to say, I want to keep going?
Yeah, I think in general, like, high school coaches-wise, I had my dad was one of the coaches at our high school at the time when I was there.
Yep.
I was like, you're not allowed to be the forward coach. I'm like, you're on this half of the bench. Like, don't come near me, because I was like, I can't. But I would say that he definitely is, like, one of the reasons I love it so much. And I think it was just like a bond for us, and we just loved doing it together, and he was always there. And so I think my dad is probably, like, the main reason that I just loved it as much as I did. And he pushed me to be where I am today. Like, I have to give him a lot of credit for that. But also Joel Wessel was my high school coach, and he was amazing to me. He always pushed me to be where I needed to be. He was there for me a lot, and I credit a lot of it to them. But also, too, in the summers I skated with Winnie, so she was amazing too. And I got to see a woman female
coach,
that was in
lead you versus your dad.
So that was
right?
awesome. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your dad. I want to know, like, if you had, and you probably had some hour-long car drives if you lived in Rogers, right? If you had a game in Lakeville or practice in Edina or something, you had lots of windshield time. Mm-hmm. Okay, and be honest now, because it's over. I mean, you're way beyond this. Okay, be honest. Was your dad a car coacher, or did he recognize, hey, this is an hour down to Edina, an hour back is good bonding time just to be my daughter? Which was he? Was he car coacher, or was he bonding with you, father, daughter?
Well, if he watches this, he's going to hate me, because he always hates when I call him a crazy hockey dad. But I would say he was probably a car coacher.
He was?
Yeah. Sometimes he would leave me alone in the cars, but, like, we would, like, especially on the way.
You're just throwing your dad under the bus. This is our first.
Sorry.
There will be more. There's going to be more coming.
Sorry, Dad. I love you to death. But if my mom was ever there, I was begging to go in the car, because then I'm like, there's music. Like, she asks if I'm hungry. Like, it's chill. And it's like, if Dad's in the car, it's like, if I missed that shot in the slot,
one pass,
I'm done. Yeah. Like, it's like every shift he knows, and it's on replay in his head. And
got it.
But I still get car coached a little bit, so I'm not past that.
Come on, you're a pro hockey player. Dad, did you play pro? Just say it. Just ask it. I didn't see you playing pro.
Yeah, no, he's a lot better now. But it is funny. He still
Seriously.
remembers the game. Like, after my games, he'll be like, "Do you remember this?"
For the
like,
Sirens.
play, yeah, or anything.
Really?
The beauty league on Wednesday nights.
Come on. Come on.
No, I'm just kidding. He won't say that.
Now your dad is going to kill me.
Yeah, he's going to be so mad.
Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah.
I think it's a good question though.
It is a good question.
It's just, I'm not trying to be divisive. I'm just saying there are some spots in there, especially those long car drives.
Yeah.
And because I worked for youth hockey, I would have been that guy, right?
Yeah.
But I heard so many different things. I learned a lot by being, listening and hearing. I'm like, so when my kids were playing sports, I never was like, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Like, just take the time as valuable time with your kids, whatever. I think my daughter and my son, would probably, if interviewed, ask the same question. They would have said the same thing. Dad was so mean to us after every game. He'd the game on replay. Yeah. But I don't remember doing it, but I probably did.
Yeah. I will say it's like some of it comes innocently. Like he can't help himself. He's so excited and he like loves it and he loves that I love it. So it's like he think like he wants
it's enthusiasm.
like he's excited about it. So it's not all negative, no, but yeah, he's funny. He remembers every shift.
I bit my tongue. I remember, especially with my son, I bit my tongue so many times. Like, don't ask about that one shot or that one pass or whatever.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine what I'm going to be like as a parent. I'll probably be the same way.
I
don't know.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. All right, so we're having a little bit of fun here. I want to go through your recruitment because you're a 2018 grad from high school. That's way before the rules changed about the junior year acceptance. So there were probably classmates, 2018 classmates that were committed. I think Hengler committed when she was like in 8th or 9th grade, right?
Yeah.
And when did you commit to Ohio State and how did that recruitment go?
Yeah. I can't really exactly remember when I committed, but I think it was around sophomore year of high school. But there was a lot of girls that were already committed by then. Or I almost felt like really late in my year, which is crazy to think about now because I'm like, I didn't know, like I couldn't even drive a car. Like I didn't know what I was doing, where I wanted to go to college, but I'm lucky it all worked out and I picked the right place. But yeah.
Oh, did you ever? But that's the craziest part about that early recruiting. Like ask a 14-year-old kid where he wants to go to college.
Yeah.
I think half of them would say, well, I want to go where Michael Jordan went. I want to go where, Jimmy Snuggerud went. But they'd have no idea if that aligns with them academically or socially, or are you a big school kid or a small school kid? Like there's so many different things. You went to like, if not the largest, one of the top 5 largest universities in the world.
Which is really funny because when I wrote a list to my parents and I was like, I want it to be a small school. I want to have small class sizes. And I said something like, I don't want to be in the middle of a city. That's what I wrote on my list. Like, I think it was before freshman year, but that's when I started getting recruited. So they're like, just make a list to kind of see. We went on a bunch of school visits and I just my mom kept saying like, don't commit yet. Don't commit. Like wait until you're sure. And I don't know, it just kind of all the pieces fell into place for me. It was kind of like a weird recruitment process, but all the pieces fell into place. And then I was like, I got to go to Ohio State. So
because I'm thinking based on that, it would be like Cornell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you literally, Mankato, nope.
Yeah.
St. Cloud, nope.
Yeah.
Duluth, nope.
Yeah.
North Dakota was still in play.
Yeah, they were.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of.
Yeah.
Obviously the Gophers, Ohio State, Wisconsin, those are all.
And I went to all those visits and I liked them all, but I didn't that was what I wrote down originally. And I liked those schools, but I was kind of like, I don't know how, I didn't just visit a place and was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. But I think that's because I wanted a small school and I needed a big school. So I think somehow it worked out where I knew that was the place I was supposed to be, even though it seems weird thinking about that. I came from such a small town that I was like, I don't want to go to a massive school. That's a lot for me.
Yeah.
And then I went to one of the biggest schools ever.
In the country.
Yeah. And now if I didn't go there, it's thank God.
But it's different though. I mean, like a lot of it, I hate to say it, a lot of it comes down to the hockey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The school, I hate to say it, is sometimes secondary, you know. Some people do make it a part of, the school is a bigger part of the decision. I remember talking to this one recruit, and She's like, I have to go somewhere where there's nursing because I know when hockey's over. This is a woman.
Yeah.
I know when hockey's over, I have to be. So I cannot attend. Like, there's probably 4 or 5 out of the 8 schools that are interested that I just didn't want to go to because of that. Which I thought I admired that. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It come down to hockey.
Yeah.
And again, this was a girl at the time who pro hockey wasn't even in the equation. So we'll get to that a little bit later here on the podcast about your hopes and dreams of playing pro hockey. Probably weren't even a thing in 2018.
Yeah, like my mom said the same thing. She said if you have, like, hopefully not, but if you had an injury that took you out for the entire hockey season, she's like, would you, like, are you still okay going to school there? Are you still, like, ask those questions? I was kind of like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to be playing hockey. Like, that's, yeah. But she would ask those questions, and I'm like, obviously she was way smarter than I was at the time. I was probably 15, but maybe if 15.
So
but
crazy that the 15, 16 years old,
like,
you were
I
making
think,
that decision.
Yeah, like freshman year, I think I had a couple different offers already, and I was just kind of like, I don't even know what to do with these. It was crazy.
And the funny thing was, and there was no like rules.
No,
either.
no rules.
So like what I mean by rules, like now it's like this June 15th is literally a national holiday. Like it is like, don't mess with a girl in this case because boys is January 1st. Don't mess with her between November 13th and just June 13th and June 20th because they're eggshells.
Yeah.
Absolute eggshells.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is
how
insane.
It works.
Yeah.
And all the phone calls and all the Zoom calls and all the texts and all that
they happen
stuff.
so fast. It's probably so overwhelming.
And let's be honest. I mean, I'm sure you're better versed at this now, but just think about it. Like, and you know how the funnel works for college recruiting, right? Like, they're going to call 26. They really want 6, but on the first day they're calling 26. Just make up a number, and then they really are going to offer 6 of them.
Yeah.
But guess what? 7 through 26 they stay in touch with until all of the offers have been accepted. So they're literally these poor girls that are 7 through 26 are just sitting there chewing on their nails. Where the open system where you could commit in 8th grade had its pluses and minuses too. It didn't have all minuses, but it had more minuses than pluses.
Yeah.
All right,
you're definitely too young, but
I want to hear about your recruitment and the Muzzerall offer. Walk through that. You have to remember that day or that sequence.
Yeah, it was crazy. So she was actually most of my early recruitment. She was coaching at the Gophers. So I knew her. I knew her as the Gophers coach.
Right.
And Jenny Potter was at Ohio State.
Yep.
So I had kind of worked through Jenny Potter in my initial recruitment to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And so I was just I don't know, we didn't have like dates and stuff like that. So I was just had a couple going on visits, had a couple offers, whatnot. But then like you hear that Ohio State's getting a new coach and I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? And it was Muzzy, and I remember her calling me, and she had said something like, I think I've talked to you about Minnesota, but she goes, Ohio State's even better. Like, she was trying to, like, almost switch, but I was like,
this was when she was at the University of Minnesota?
No, she had gotten the Ohio State job. So then she had called me. I don't know if she was like, I was on that list, or I think she was just
I bet you were 7 through 26.
I could have been 7 through 26.
Whatever,
of Ohio
just
State,
hypothetical. No, for Minnesota.
Oh, for Minnesota, yes.
You were for sure someone they were staying in touch with, whatever.
Yeah.
Keeping you on the back burner, and all of a sudden, I'm in Ohio State. Let's go.
Yeah, she had said, I've watched you play a ton of times, because she was obviously recruiting for Minnesota and watching all those games, and I grew up here, played here. So she had watched me so many times, I'm sure. And then she ended up being the Ohio State coach, and she's like, I want to offer you scholarship here. Like, I think you'd be great here. This is a great chance. And I had already visited Ohio State.
Where was Gabby in this whole Rosenthal?
Where
was she? A year older, your age?
She's my age, but
and were you good friends?
Or was
it just total luck?
We were. No, I would say not at the time. Not
Didn't
at this
know
time.
each other at all.
No.
You met basically at Ohio State?
No, we then met in like high school league and stuff.
Right.
But this was before. This was probably high school league years. So we probably knew each other from on high school league teams, but we weren't like besties.
Right.
But yet.
Now I bet you're pretty close.
Yeah, we're besties. Yeah. But
where's Liz fit into all this too?
Liz was the same. So when Ohio
State, she grade?
She was a year older. So she was probably a junior, senior at this point, and she was a very late add to Muzzy's.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, crazy. Like, crazy story.
Because that trio, I mean, that's the one, again, Remember now, my when I first met you, I'm like, oh my God, I want to punch this girl because
Yeah.
her name. We'll get to your name in a bit.
Yeah.
But and I meant that in a good way. But like
Yeah.
those three were scoring when you were in school. It was every Friday and Saturday night. I write down because I write down all the Minnesota goal scorers.
Yeah.
And it was 1, 2, or both, all
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
For it felt like a decade.
Yeah.
You guys were scoring in a good way. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so exciting that it's not Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
it's not Minnesota. For me, it's great. Like the
Yeah.
more Minnesota kids getting opportunities, whether it's at UMD or somewhere not the big, the big
Yeah,
two.
big, yeah.
We feel like that's where,
And at the time, Ohio State wasn't necessarily like what it is today. So it was really cool that Muzzy came in, and then she had picked up a couple Minnesota girls. I know Gabby was already committed to actually Jenny Potter at the time, so
Right.
she was already committed, but she was same my year, and then Liz got picked up late. But I was Muzzy's first recruit, so we always talk about that and chat about that. We're like, that's so funny that I was like her first head coach recruit
That's
that committed
awesome.
to Ohio State. Yeah, so we have that little special bond.
So what did you think of Muzzy as Brad's assistant versus the fast forward 5 or 6 years from now?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Like, this is not the same person I thought, or it is the same person, or what is it?
I don't really know her as Brad's assistant, but based on the stories she's told and that I've heard, completely different person. I guess she was like, for the girls, like, just
Good cop, maybe?
Yeah, like as the assistant coach, she's like,
Right.
yeah, I got you guys. And
Yeah.
as a head coach, she's definitely
Not the good cop.
Yeah, not the good cop. But she.
Well, I can't believe her to be the good cop, just based on what I know, what I hear her saying. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
like, I would stand wherever she told me to stand is where
Yeah.
I wouldn't get out of line with her.
Yeah, you. It's in the best interest to just stand in line and but I will say when she cares about you, she really cares about you. Like, she is one of the most loyal people I've ever met, in the way that if I ever needed anything from her, like, she would drop everything and help me out. Like, so I think that's really cool is when I was playing for her and all that stuff, like, I had so much respect for her that it was like you don't want to say you do it what she says, but you had so much respect that you would just do it. And but she also had so much respect for the players back that that's why you did what, like, all the things that she asked of you, and that's why you had such a special bond and a good relationship with her, is because you knew that if I ever needed anything, like, she really cares about you as a person as well, which is awesome.
She's kind of had built a personality around to me, I wish we had 10 more of her
Yeah.
in women's college hockey. You know how exciting that would be?
I know, yeah, it would be great, but you can't, like, she is one of a kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it would be great for the game to have more Muzzies, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily mean female, but
No,
like,
yeah.
but let's call a spade a spade. Like, I mean, the other two good programs have male coaches, and no offense to Mark and Brad, they aren't as colorful. And it's exciting,
Yeah.
like I never, when I go watch Ohio State, I'm like, you never know what's going to happen next.
No, you never know. I remember when we had, like, this is just one memory I have of her, but when we had those black jerseys that you couldn't read the names on the back
I'm
or
well
whatnot.
aware, yes.
Yeah, and Minnesota was so mad, and we were going to wear them the next day, and she's like, well, we can't get them fixed before the next day, but she said that we're going to start with a 2-minute penalty if we want to wear them. So the team took a vote, and she's like, do we want to, because we had our other jerseys with us, I think, or we could get them or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, do we take the 2-minute penalty and basically say, like, we don't
Too
care?
bad?
Yeah. Or do we wear our other jerseys? And all of us were like, nah, we're taking the penalty. Like,
shorthanded.
yeah, she goes, yeah. So we just went into that game. And that's just, like, so Muzzy. Like, she's like, I'm going to do this.
I
like,
love it.
this is what I'm doing. Like, everyone has her back. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through Ohio State. I have Ohio State questions,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so you go to Ohio State, like, you probably, when you visited there, what time of year did you visit?
It was actually my birthday, so it was November.
Okay, so did you see a game?
Yeah, a football game.
Oh, gosh.
And it was like you got to go on the field. And I think when I was visiting, the big person on the football team was Ezekiel Elliott, who now obviously plays pro, but he was our running back at the time. And he was like the cool person that was at,
Did he invent that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. At Ohio State. So
Yeah.
that's what I got to see on my visit, yeah. So I'm shocked that I wasn't all in at that point, but...
Yeah. So tell me about, because that's, not just the football program, but the school, and it's an elite school, and there's so much more to it than just hockey and football. It's a gigantic campus. Massive. It's right in the middle of the city. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. But actually,
very large city.
Very large city. It's actually pretty separated now that I've gone there. There's it's like this is campus, and then the city's right outside of it. So I like that part of it. I think that helped a lot with me actually being okay to commit there, because you weren't walking through city buildings trying to get to classes. But it is massive, and it's a big school. But I don't think when I was there, which seems crazy, I don't think I realized to the extent of what Ohio State is. I had no idea.
You don't correct people and say the Ohio State, do you?
No, I don't. But people correct me and say the.
They do?
Yeah. If I don't know when, but whenever I say it, they'll be like, "Oh, the."
They're trying to make fun of you a little bit. I think. I don't get on that. I think it's kind of cool.
It is cool.
They have their thing, and the OHOI, the whole. There's so many. There are a lot of cool traditions there. How did you when you guys got really good and winning national championships? Tell me a little bit about how the camp. Did anybody embrace you guys? Did it become a bigger deal the more you won?
Yeah, for sure. I remember, our rink is very small there. We still play in that rink, but I don't really remember my first couple years, but that one year was COVID, so there was no one in the rinks.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then after we started winning or making the Frozen Fours, it sold out. The rink was packed. I think it was either my senior or my fifth year. There was lines outside the rink waiting to get in. And you had to get in line or else you couldn't watch the game. So people would line up 2 hours before the game. We would be showing up the same time that some of the fans would be starting to line up to see our game. And I was like, what is going on here?
Was that?
Yeah, it was crazy. And granted, our rink is pretty small, so we wish that we could take everyone and that didn't have to happen. But it was really cool when it was happening, because you're like, oh my gosh, people are waiting in line for hours.
That is not what it was not my impression.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
It was really cool, yeah.
It's really cool. And what did you study when you were there?
I studied health sciences. So it was essentially pre-med, and then I got a business minor. And then my fifth year, I did a 1-year grad program, and it was healthcare innovation.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through, the draft. You got drafted after college. But what I want to go through is Paetyn's brain from 2018 to 2023. In that 5-year span, you went from I don't have the exact stats, but it's 10 points, 11 points. It wasn't really, you weren't setting the world on fire until your junior, senior year. I think part of it's because we had Summit scorers, and you knew back in Minnesota, some dude in his house in Bloomington is going to keep track of this. And as long as somebody's keeping track, I better get my name up there every freaking night.
I'm I know he's going to struggle spelling my name. So I got to turn it on.
I got to turn it up, right? I just turn it up right now. No, but honestly, we'll get to that as maybe your name in a second, but the spelling of your name. But I want to get in is there was the NWHL before PHL.
Yep.
Sorry. There were leagues, but they weren't exactly careers that you could make. When did you ever, when you were a kid, ever imagine? I know that you knew you were a good player and one of the best American-born players, but where did your brain oh my God, this is actually going to happen? I'm going to actually play pro hockey.
Yeah,
was it just the week the months leading up to the draft?
No, just kidding.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Even the draft, I was
still sitting there.
I was still a little bit no, we'll get to that. But but literally, I'm still you remember the jerseys the first year? It was just New York and Minnesota. It was a little bit. It was a little bit hurried.
Yeah.
And then I don't mean that negatively.
No.
I actually appreciate what they did. Okay, let's just get it going. If we don't do it, then we're never going to do it.
Well, there's always going to be hiccups, but you just got to start somewhere. And I really respect them for just starting. I did too.
Yeah. Let's just go and we'll figure it out later. Yeah. We'll play a game at Mariucci. We'll play here. We'll figure it out.
It's fine,
it'll be fine. And then obviously last year was all right, now they've really done it.
Yeah.
And then they had the tours and all this other great stuff that, There's magic coming. I think there's more magic too in the future.
For sure.
We'll get to that in a second. So Yeah, so your thinking is the same as my thinking. Like, this is happening, but I don't even know if it's going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
It's funny because when I was a kid and they'd ask you what you wanted to do, I would always say play professional hockey. So I always said that, like wrote that on my stuff as a kid, but I would always put the NHL. Like I was like, I'm going to play in the NHL. And I was
excellent.
Like, yeah,
great answer.
I'm like, I'm going to play in the NHL. And my poor parents didn't tell me I couldn't.
I think,
even though,
well, I know, but I think a better answer, again, having a child and kids in your age bracket, I think the more common answer was playing in the Olympics, because that was the pinnacle. That was the highest point to get.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was it. And then I remember even at the time, there was a time, I mean, Peter and I would talk about this on podcasts 5-6 years ago, way before where we are now. Mm-hmm. And we would talk about how some of the older players were kind of hogging up spots for some of the younger players in the Olympics. There were 26, 27, 28-year-old women. Yeah. And they were still good hockey players, but they were taking up spots. Now that's a thing, maybe, possibly, but I think at the end of the day, now there's this
league,
a real league with real players and real fans and jerseys and the whole deal. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
What has your experience been? Well, let's go back to the draft first, and then I want to ask you what your experience has been. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the draft. I think it's it happened. Yeah. Where were you? Were you in? Yeah. Where was the draft anyway? The first year, was it in
Toronto? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, all I remember is Taylor Heisey. That's I literally remember the first pick, and after that, it was like, okay, cool. But look at this, Taylor Heisey is she's on our team, and she's this. But that was kind of the big from a news perspective. But where was Paetyn in this whole thing? Yeah,
well, it's funny because when I was finishing up my 5th year.
This is coming off 2 gigantic years. I hate to pump your tires too much here, but gigantic points-wise, fantastic. So, walk me through the draft scenario sequence for you.
Yeah, I'd come off 2 good years of hockey, but I still didn't know kind of what I was doing. And
did you have an agent?
I ended up getting one. I ended up getting an agent, yes, but originally, like the first thing I did. So without an agent,
like you don't know.
No, I didn't know. I had a job interview, like a real job interview.
Oh,
like post like
health sciences with a business minor.
Yep.
Kind of interview.
Yes, kind of interview, and I was like, perfect. Yeah, and then I was like, and then I had kind of talked to people, and I didn't know. I was like, I don't know if I don't know what's going on with hockey, and because there was still the 2 leagues at that point, like right when I graduated.
Correct. Yep.
So I talked to my mom actually, and she was like, well, if you play hockey and you hate it, you can be done after 1 year. And she's like, but if you go and get a real job, she's like, you can never go back to hockey. And I was like, true. So that's what ended up changing my mind after my job interview. As I was talking to my mom.
Same woman who said, if you quit, I'll take you on a trip anywhere. To wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I wonder if that still stands. We should ask her.
You should.
Yeah, I should.
The year before you retire, go, Mom, I'm thinking of hanging up. How about you take me to that trip to...
It's a couple years late, but listen.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so then she changed my mind. So then that's when I kind of switched, got an agent, kind of started figuring out the whole hockey landscape. And then I just knew I really wanted to play back in Minnesota because I had been gone for so long. I had been in Ohio State, all this stuff. And I was like, I want to play in front of my family, all the things. So I was like, the Whitecaps, perfect. So I'd actually signed with the Whitecaps for like a week. And then
I remember that.
Yeah.
I want to insert that I literally made a graphic with you in it
really?
For the White.
Did you spell her name right?
Did you signed?
Did you spell her name correct?
I mean, I'm sure I did. Okay, I probably looked it up.
All right.
That's so funny.
She's
Small world. Small world.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I was signed for the Whitecaps for 1 week, and then the league was bought.
Purchased,
And then it became 1 league, which is so much better for women's hockey and all the things. So it's great that happened. But it was funny because I just wanted to play in Minnesota, and the only way I knew that I could do that was to sign for the Whitecaps. So I just sure, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, thank gosh I didn't. I was like I was about to get an apartment, like all the things. I thought I was living in Minnesota. Yeah. And then they're like, nope, there's this draft. You don't know where you're going. Your life's like completely new. And I'm like, perfect, starting over. So yeah, and then I just for the draft I was sitting.
So you had an advisor, an agent who did he or she go out and kind of tell you, you're going to get drafted for sure. Because every team, or did teams interview you?
Yeah, you would get, I mean, the agent did a lot of work, yes, but you would get calls from coaches, or GMs actually, or honestly both, whoever called you. Yeah,
Someone
it depended
from
on
New
teams.
York, somebody called you, right? Yeah.
But yeah, so I talked to a couple teams, kind of got the gist, but they were also, every team was like, we have no idea. It was the first time. So they're like, we have no idea how this draft's going to go. So they're like, this is kind of what we think of you. This is what we're like, these are the vibes. But like, if this happens, we have no clue how, like, what kind of turn it's going to take. So it was kind of like, yes, but no. I think the only people who were locked in were maybe the first round.
But they had also players that were free agents, like the Kelly Panics.
Yeah, so
of the world,
they
right?
had all signed three players that point. Yeah,
And everyone else was drafted.
Everyone else was drafted.
Yeah, well, that's that's only 18 players. you
Yeah,
know?
and it's
They're
like
mostly Olympians.
yes,
right?
yeah, basically all Olympians and all older girls.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think you were eligible to sign before if you were just coming out of college, which was my case, but not that I would have been. But yeah, it was crazy because only 3 players. And then also, like, my draft year wasn't just my college class. Like, it was anyone in the world who ever wanted to play hockey. Like, I think Gigi Marvin got drafted.
Yes,
like
by Boston, maybe.
Yeah, so it's like, just to think about how many players that is insane.
Yeah.
To think about, yeah.
So you got drafted, like, in the 10th round,
Yeah.
right? So right around 60 players.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a pretty high honor that you were drafted. You were considered one of the top 80 players in the world. That's impressive.
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
Thank you.
Well, due to this huge junior and senior year, I mean, you were. I mean, talk about players and their hockey stick, how they grow. Like, your hockey stick was like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you were like 11.11. All of a sudden, boom.
Bing.
That was really good.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to? Was there something besides illegal drugs that made? I mean, what was it?
Those were big help.
It was big help. The HGH is my best friend. No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But what was it that spurred you into such a great junior and senior campaign?
Yeah, I mean, it's a multitude of things, but I always go back and kind of think of it, and I have to attribute a lot of it to my trainer who was at Ohio State. I spent all my summers off season at Ohio State with the trainers there, and so Chris Friend, he did a lot of off-ice training for us all summer long, and it was that really kicked me in the butt and helped me out a lot with all my on-season or in-season stuff, and all my on-ice testing scores and all that stuff went up a lot, but also just confidence, I think, too. Like, I got to a point in my career where I was, like, more confident in what I was doing. I was playing more. I was all those things, kind of a mix of that. And I just had a better relationship with Muzzy, and she trusted me on the ice, and I felt good on the. I don't know. It was kind of like a multitude of
obviously,
things.
you and I don't know how to have the stat sheets, but I'm guessing you were getting more special teams minutes.
Yes, yeah.
And that
for
obviously,
sure. Yeah.
that's
that
a
helps,
big
yeah.
number, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, now we're going to be on the ice 5-on-4. I'm going to get, I'll be on the bumper, and all of a sudden my points double.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps.
Yeah, it does help. It definitely does, yeah.
But the key there is there's 2 words that you said. You didn't say trust, but I'm sure there was some trust there, right?
Yeah.
But it's all confidence. Like, confidence, trust. Like, if you can get those into a little kettle, you can make world champions out of it, right? Like, isn't that the key, right?
It is. It's crazy.
And you probably saw it firsthand from your freshman year to your 4th and 5th. You're like, wow, the kettle was, Muzzy had the kettle going. She still does, for that matter.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that formula, her formula, whether it's the training staff, the assistant coaches, off-season. What do you think makes up the formula to the success at Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, there's a multitude of things, but her support staff, she'll give them credit too. They're unbelievable. And I think having a good support staff around you really makes a big difference, because you don't have to then worry about, like, I wasn't worried about if I was getting faster. I wasn't worried about if my off-season training was helping me. And I think all those things can play a role into what you end up being as an athlete. And I didn't have to worry about any of that extra stuff. Like, my nutrition was taken care of, my off-ice stuff was taken care of, so that when I was on the ice, that's all I had to focus on. And I think that helped a lot. And then, to be honest, just like reps. Like, if you do something 1,000, I don't know what it is to make you an expert, but 1,000 hours
10,000,
or something.
10,000. I don't know if that's possible.
I don't know if it is,
you
but
could be
it's
like 58 years old by the time you get to that.
Exactly.
But it is, there is
the more time you just do it, you become, then when I get in that situation, I'm way more confident when I'm in that situation. And I think that was the biggest difference is freshman, sophomore year, it was more like, whoa, this is a situation. Whereas then junior, senior, fifth year, it was like, I've been here before, now I know what I'm doing in those situations.
Did you ever see that quote? It's come out in the last couple of years. It was a Kevin Durant quote about making a Game 7 three-pointer, buzzer beater, right?
Yeah.
And they asked him, and he said, well, how did you know what was going through your brain? He goes, well, I've made that shot like 10,000 times in my head in practice. I think of this shot. So when I got to it, it was really easy because you've done it 10,000 times. It's the same philosophy, right?
Yeah.
You got to just, but the first 9,999 times, it's a long
journey, and you want to know what, you're not going to succeed.
No.
Yeah. So that's the hard. That's a half of it is like continuing to try. Right? You got to keep going, or else if you just quit at the 9,900 time, you never make it to the 10,000. You never know if you're going to be good.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. And I'm sure that's a lot of it. Would you say again? You go back to the olden days of Minnesota and Wisconsin, would you say that's the key, one of the key ingredients to Muzzy's coaching pattern is just this, you got to keep going, and, we got to outwork our competition. What were some of those themes that she had? Is there something that she said, or is there a phrase that she had, like, I'll never forget that, or maybe now when you coach someday, will you use something that she's, brought to the full? What would be that thing?
I don't know if you can just pick one, but her philosophy was, one was always to be the fittest team. Like she's like, you're not going to be able to, at the end of the game, outwork us or outdo anything for us. So she was always like, we're not going to run out of gas ever. And I think that helps a lot in college hockey because when you can keep going and at the end of those third periods, like, the teams, they can't keep up, right? And so I think that was a main philosophy while I was there, and still is for her, that made us so successful. But also she always, her saying was, I think, like a relentless pursuit of perfection, because you're never going to be perfect, but like you're always trying to pursue the next level to be damn near perfect, right? So she, that was always her saying, that I've taken that, and I love that quote because you're never going to be there, but if you're relentlessly pursuing that, you're gonna get close, and that's when things are good. Yeah, good things will happen.
All right, so now you're a pro athlete. Tell me about the regimen that you go through from the end of last season to this season, because this is not. Is it any different training for the Sirens as it was for Ohio State? Is it easier? Is it harder? Or somewhere in between? What? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would say it's somewhere in between. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same. The biggest difference is we have a 6-month off season. So in college hockey, you maybe have 3 when you're going to the end, right? Because you have to finish school. But then when you're home or whatever, you only really have 3 months to really work in college, whereas now you have 6 months. So it's definitely different. I know with Ben Prentice, who was our trainer for the Sirens, he kind of worked in our, like, having 3 series of off seasons almost in our one off season, so that you got breaks in between and that you're resting your body so that you don't end up in training camp being burnt out starting the season, which I think is a big thing in pro hockey right now, just because we have such a long off season. It's not normal to have 6 months.
Do you like it or not like it?
I mean, it's nice because you do get that break, and you really can develop your skills in the off season. And I think that's a really cool part of it, because a lot of times in the 3 months you might just be rehabbing, or you might just be, different things like that. So I do like being able to really develop and hone in on skills that you need to work on in the off season. I definitely do get I want to play a game. Like, I get antsy, and I want to do something besides skill drills sometimes. But so there's pros and cons. But
dumb question: is there an outlet for pro players to get games?
I mean, there's like the Beauty League, and
it's not really
it's not a game.
No
it's like
offense.
4-on-4. Yeah,
it's a crowd, but it's really not.
No
one's going in the corners hard.
No. No, not really.
There
I wouldn't
isn't
say
really a game.
no, not really. Not in the off season. We do scrimmages and whatnot, but that totally depends on how many people are in your market and how many people are willing to get together and come and whatnot. So there's a couple scrimmages that happen, but that's all.
Okay. What do you do? I know you train. Tell me about. Do you like the training aspect? Do you like the coaching aspect of it? And tell me about your role there. I know you do some work at base.
Yeah, I do some coaching all over for a lot of different things, but I do like coaching. I think it's a different lens. It's really made me step back as a player because I think when I started coaching, I was very I guess I didn't have as much patience. Like I was like, why can't we do this right now on the first try?
Right.
So I think it's definitely it's different, and I think it's really good for me because I need that in my life, and I need kids to just be crazy and silly and to just you know be able to be like, oh, let's just try to work on this one skill then, you know. So I think it's definitely been a different thing for me, but it's grown me as a person, I think, a lot.
Do you coach a team? Like
I don't coach a specific team. I did coach high school
skills?
elite league last year and the year before that, so I did do those. This year I'm not doing that, but I do a lot of skills stuff, fall clinics, summer clinics. I ran a camp in Alaska with one of my friends, a hockey camp, which was really cool.
Really?
Yeah, we helped out with one in Nova Scotia too that we got to go to, which was
nicest
really cool.
people in the world, by the way.
Yes, so nice, insane.
Every person I've ever met from the Maritimes, like, are you guys like for real?
Really?
And then,
Yeah.
and of course, Nathan McKinnon, the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And Sidney Crosby. Where are they from?
Nova Scotia. Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm like, what is in the water here? Because they're
something.
always the classiest, nicest people that I've
Yeah.
ever met from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the name.
Okay.
Because I've had to write your name
Yeah,
a
you have.
lot.
Yep.
And whose conception is this? Is this your mom or is your dad? How did they decide?
If you had to guess.
I'm guessing mom.
Really?
Well,
Dad.
how do they? Dad? Where did he come up with this? We've
we're
already
not
thrown him under
sure.
the bus enough, but
We have. But this is a good one.
Tell me the story.
I don't know if I
What's
know
your brother's
the story.
name?
Cal. But it's Charles
Just
Allen.
Cal or Calvin?
No, it's Charles Allen Levis III. So it's like the full.
That's
So it's
so
my
cool.
dad's name, but his initials
That
are
is
Cal.
the coolest name ever.
Yeah.
Your brother got the coolest name ever.
He
and you
did.
got a name that was misspelled.
Yeah,
that will be
misspelled, and
until you
I'm
get to the
always
grave.
the unfavorite. Like I'm very much unfavorited child in my family. Like Cal got all the cool stuff.
His name is awesome.
I know.
I love that
And
name.
on his jersey, he puts like 3 lines because he's the
of course
third.
he
It's so
does.
nice. I'm like, jealous.
So cool.
Yeah, he's
So
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me
Yeah.
how much pain has it caused you?
Yeah, lots of pain.
I want to hear. Give me the most painful of pain, besides me giving it to you
Yeah,
right now.
you honestly, no, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
It's been misspelled multiple times, probably in half of my friends' phones. Actually, one of my best friend, Emma Malte, she probably still has it misspelled in her phone. So that's a heartbreaker. But I think the story is based on my knowledge. Is they had agreed on I think they had a top 3 and Paetyn was in it. And they had finally agreed on Paetyn as the name. And then my dad went to fill out the birth certificate.
Stop it.
Genuinely. And I think he
Stop
came
it.
back and said, this is how I spelled it.
No.
Yeah. I don't
didn't
think
go
my
with-
mom
there's-
pre-approved
there's-
that.
There's the AY and the EY. That's how I always is it AY or
He
EY? And he went
didn't-
completely off.
Yeah.
the
No,
grid.
he didn't want TON to be ton. Like he's like, nope, that's not her name. So that's where the TYN came from. And then the pay part, I don't think he wanted 2 Ys. So then he did the AE and then, So he just,
I get it now.
Yeah. So he didn't want the ton was really why. Like he didn't want TON. And then he didn't want 2 E's like PAETEN and P. Yeah. So he wanted one of all of the letters in
He
it.
got way too he
Way
overthought
too,
it.
Overthought it by a million, but he didn't have to think
Overthought it.
about my brother's name at all.
At all.
At all. So
He
it
had
was
that
yep,
bad boy when he was 12 years old.
Yep, that was locked in.
I know what my
Yep.
kid's name's.
Yep.
If I have a boy,
Here
it's
it
going to be
is.
this.
Yep. So they put all of their thinking caps into my name apparently,
Oh,
but I don't
did
know
they
if my
ever?
mom even knew about it. I don't think she did.
Oh, my. Oh, what's
But she loves
and
it
your
now.
dad's name is?
Charlie. Well,
Charlie.
Charles Allen Levis II.
Yeah, I
but
got that.
Yeah,
I got
Charlie.
that part.
Yeah. So yeah,
Charlie,
yeah,
I'm
that's
really
the
sorry
name.
about. Hopefully, you don't see this podcast.
You know,
'cause
I'm gonna
we
block
have-
it.
He cannot
No,
see
he
this
can't see
podcast.
this. No, that's okay.
All right. Well, I've had a ton of fun with you here today, and the name I knew I just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah,
at the
you
end,
had
but
to.
like, I think that was in one of the text strings. I'm like, I'm gonna just torch you for your name. 'cause
I mean,
it's
fair.
tortured me for
I
years.
think as a youth hockey player, I don't think anyone said my name right. I think
Really, I can say it properly.
No,
the
it's-
spelling was always tricky for me.
any enunciation was like I was a Paxton Lewis. I was
Paxton Lewis.
Paxton Lewis, yeah.
I like that
so
one.
I don't even think I went to the blue line. Like everyone kind of looked around. I
Oh,
didn't
when they
know it
call
was
out
me.
the lineups?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's me, but
Paxton
it
Lewis,
was
close
indeed
enough.
move. Yep, close enough. Yeah. So I got a lot of different funny names as a kid. I don't
Paxton
even know.
Lewis is pretty good.
That one's pretty good.
I
That's
can't
pretty
top
out
that
there.
one.
Yeah, that's pretty out there. Yeah.
But I still think it's Paetyn, but it's a stuttering Paetyn. It's
Yeah.
Paetyn. I think you got that a lot, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like first day of school
Yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah. Everyone's kind of like looking at it, and then they always mispronounce the last name, so it's a double whammy. You know, it's like the stutter
is.
first name, and then Levi's is the last name
Levi's.
every
It's
time.
gotta
so,
be Levi's.
Yeah,
It's not every time. There's no way.
yeah.
I got Levis right away.
You did?
Totally Levis, but the Paetyn, it just kind of,
That threw you off.
God, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well-
And then when I had to spell it, I'm like, gosh, I always got confused because I wanted to do Payten. That's the
Oh.
way I wanted to spell
Okay.
it every time.
That was close.
I got
enough.
all the letters
Yeah,
right,
you
but
did.
just mixed them.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't right every time. I knew
Every
it wasn't
time
right.
you saw it, you're
and
like,
the thing is, until I ran it, I always thought you were from Blaine.
Blaine.
Because isn't Gabby from
Gabby
Blaine?
Rosenthal. Yeah.
I just thought, oh, that's a
like,
package.
Yep. Deal.
And they always scored the same goal. They scored
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot for Ohio State.
We
And I'm
are
like,
a
oh, yeah.
package deal.
Yeah, you are. I was like, oh my God, it's the same.
New York
And then I
Sirens
realized-
last year, package deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's just the same.
Same.
That's
They're the
just
same.
So, all right. Well, I am completed. We have gone from beginning life to the Sirens and your career there. And I expect nothing but great things out of you this year. And I think the Sirens, it's about time someone overthrows the Frost and wins the cup. Is it going to be you guys this year?
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right. Well, I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to keep tabs on you this season.
Yeah. Hopefully you can post my name a couple times.
I'm
yeah.
gonna post your name a bunch
bunch.
this year. A bunch this year. Paetyn Levis from Rogers and Ohio State. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.